Hello, welcome to another episode of the series Marlene Nobre 2026. It is a pleasure to be here with you once again at the first Sunday of the month. Today, very special day, so happy Easter to us all. I hope that the message of the occasion stays in our hearts throughout the week, throughout our incarnation, because it is the lighthouse in the dark night. So, welcome you again, and I want to welcome here in the studio. Today we have with us our dear friend Silvia Gibbons. Hello, Silvia.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you today?
It is a pleasure to have you here with us, Silvia. For those
Thank
who,
you.
yeah,
Thank
for those who
you.
don't know, I met Silvia when I first went to the UK. We used to go to the Alan Kardec study group in the early 1990s, and it is a pleasure to have Silvia here with us talking about this work by Dr. Marlene Nobre. So, Silvia will be talking about the gift of mediumship. And for those who don't know Silvia, I will say just a few words about her. So, she is a humanist, counselor, bioenergetic, psychodrama, and deep memory process therapist, interpreter, and translator, a medium and healer for 37 years. She's also trustee of the British Spiritist Medical Association, coordinator of the group Chico Xavier Spiritist Society in the United Kingdom, and she's also a treasurer of the Francis of Assisi Spiritist Society. So, as you can see, Silva is very active within Spiritism in the UK. So it is a pleasure
Really.
to have here with us talking about another work by Dr. Marlene Nobre. So Silvia, I'll hand it over to you. I'm looking forward
Thank
to
you.
hearing what you have to say about, yet another work by Dr. Nobre. And I'll be backstage, so just call me if you need.
Yes, I will. Thank you. Good afternoon. God bless you, everyone. Today it's a very special day. It's Easter Sunday. Is when we are reminded of the sacrifice that Jesus made for us to bring peace and his teachings into the world. So for us who have some faith and belief. It's a very, very special day, Easter Sunday. And I am very pleased and very happy to be here with you, talking about Dr. Marlene. Is a person that I not only admired a lot, but also worked with her for quite a number of years. And I was very happy to be involved in this and be invited to share some moments with you. Um, I just, before I start talking about the book, I just wanted to say something which is, for me, is interesting. And I was thinking about it today. I was reminded of it. I actually started working in Spiritism because of Dr. Marlene. And I had forgotten about that. But today I said, oh, yes, I was, flying by in life, sailing through, and a friend of mine said, oh, there's these doctors coming to London and they're spiritists. They're going to have this conference. Would you like to come? And I said, oh, okay, then I'll go. And of course, there's Dr. Marlene and Dr. Julia Perez. And I did go. And, their talks was very, very interesting. And that's when I met Janet Duncan. She was the one organizing the event. And she invited us to go to the meetings in her house, and that's how I started. And the friend of mine who said, "No, you must go, come," and she never went again. And I was the one who stayed, and I'm still there. And it's been now over 40 years. So it's wonderful to be here, having a part of it, because I remember so many things that she taught me and she taught all of us. And today we're going to talk about this book, The Gift of Mediumship. This is an extremely important book because what we have is, oh dear, It's a very important work because it gives you an idea about mediumship, and it goes into even though it's a book that can be read by someone who doesn't know much about mediumship, yet it can go very, very deep because all the explanations that she gives, all the points that she brings, she always goes to the source. So not only you'll be able to learn what she's teaching us, what she's telling us, but you're also able to go to the original source that she's bringing this knowledge from. So the book, it says, "The Gift of Mediumship is the new meaning for human life, a new meaning for humanity." That's how she quotes mediumship to be. And the book, it is an explanation of the gift of mediumship, and is based on the books of the medium's book and all the other books of the codification, also the books of André Luiz and Chico Xavier, Emmanuel, and some many others authors that talk about different aspects of mediumship and research and everything. So the book is divided in 4 parts. The first part being the general introduction to the subject, in which she talks about mediumship, mediumism, epiphyses, the difference between ostensive and unostensive mediums, the symptoms of mediumship that you have to be aware about. Then the second part is the anemic phenomena, and she talks about telepathy, sonambulism, astral travel, and some other subjects. And the third one is the spiritist phenomena, which is the physical effects first she talks about, which is typology, moving tables, transport, materialization, healing, mediumship, which is part of the physical effects. Then there is the divided as well intellectual effects, the assimilation of mental currents, mental mediumship, psychography, or automatic writing, as we say in England, psychophony, which is speaking mediums, clairvoyance, clairaudience, and psychometry. She talks about that. And then the book goes into final considerations. She also gives some notes on about it. There is the introduction to the book, of course, and she gives all the sources. So if you were wanting to read it and study it, it is really because you have all the sources there. It's a wonderful book. Unfortunately, we won't be able to go through all the little details that it entails, but I will give an explanation first about mediumship, which I think is important, how she puts it. And also I can open for questions. And if you have any question, please just say, or if you want to make a comment, we open for you, okay? So Dr. Marlene is very practical. She was, after all, a medical doctor. She was a scientist by nature, a researcher of spiritism. And she starts the book, which in a very practical way. And she starts saying, if you suffer from tachycardia, body shivers, if you feel upset without reason why, or if you wanted to cry, or if you're irritated for no reason, or if you sleep too much, or don't sleep enough, have insomnia, or have your dreams, very disturbed dreams, night terrors, if you panic without knowing why, there is no reason to be feeling afraid, and this kind of feelings of that you don't know. And if you have gone to the doctor, this is a very important point. If you've been to the doctor, if you have done tests and find out, and even if you under treatment, but the treatment doesn't seem to be helping you in the problems that you have, because of course we have psychological problems, life problems, but this is very important to be aware of this. And if you have 3 or 4 of those symptoms, she says, oh, be alert, because you may be a medium. And if you want to, if you have the possibility of going to a spiritist center or something, it's good to find some spiritual help for all these problems that the medicine is not clearing. This is very, very important, because that's how it is. because one point that is emphasized in this book is that mediumship is a physical thing. It's not paranormal, it's not magical, it's not extra. It's a physical phenomenon. Um, so the point is, like, although it's not circumscribed in the physical body, it's a faculty that's inherent to all human beings. In question 159 of the Medium's book, when they asked Kardec, "I will mediums," and the answer from the spirits were that we are all mediums, is inherent in the human nature. And he says, it's as the ability to breathe. So all of us, without exception, and it amplifies mediumship. What it does to the body, amplifies and expand the physical senses. It can evolve and develop. Mediumship progresses. You have one type of mediumship, but if you dedicate your work, you can develop others. And it allows us the perception and also to communicate with the dead. Some people say the dead, and we know there is no such a thing as death, just the living that lives in a different plane from us. So the roots of mediumship is a human structure. Is the understanding that we are constituted by a physical body, a subtle body, and the subtle body in Spiritism, as Kardec dominated, perispirit. But this is also known as the astral body, the chi, the ka in ancient Egypt. There are many, the astral body in India, and there are many, it's known throughout the history of humanity. But Allan Kardec called it the perispirit, because this is a covering for the spirit. And the spirit, the perispirit serves as an intermediary between the spirit and the physical body. So the mediumship then is grounded on the spiritual body, or the perispirit, which allows the expansion of our senses and the community and communication between the senses. So we have, like they say, the sixth sense or seventh sense we have, because mediumships allow you to expand your physical senses beyond, which is a very interesting and exciting thing, really. So the exercise of mediumship, the perispirit, it works like the perispirit uses the neurological structure of the sensitive parts of the physical brain, which can capture the spiritual message, and either consciously or unconsciously, and understand it and transmit it. So in a way, the message is given from the spirit is decodified by the physical brain and transmitted. But the main structure of the brain, or the physical of body, is the pineal gland, which is also called the gland of the mental life. And that is the gland that decodifies the spiritual message and send it to many parts of the brain where it is interpreted and understood and is passed on. And because every single human being, or every single animal actually, has a pineal gland, we are all mediums. Now, in the book, Dr. Marlene quotes quite a lot of the books, and I thought this one was interesting, so I'm quoting it from the book as well. That in the book, in the domains of mediumship, the mentor, Aulus, he says that mediumship is a gift inherent to all beings as the ability to breathe, and each person assimilates the superior or inferior forces that he synchronizes with. So all of us, it's we have this ability, and we synchronize with the forces, with the people that think like we do. Emmanuel, in his book Syntony, Mediumship in Syntony, he says mediumship is a mental force, creative talent of the soul, the ability to communicate and interpret the spirit is the magnet of the soul itself. So it is with all of us there. We are mediums, and we will explain, because maybe some of you who understand a lot about mediumship or not quite sure that why there are people who know they are mediums and people who think they don't have any mediumship, and we're going to talk about this a little bit going on. So mediums, really, to define what a medium is, they are intermediaries. Like I said, it says they are bridges between the two planes of life, the physical and the spiritual. And as we evolve as human beings, as we go, as we progress, as we evolve and develop into better, more refined people, mediumship becomes easier, and it will be a way of communicating towards eventually we won't have any barriers. And this bridges to be a communicated and physical and the spiritual reminded me of this of a quote by the priest Pierre Teilhard de Chardin, when he says, "We are not physical beings having a spiritual life, but we are spiritual beings. We are not physical beings having a spiritual life, but we are spiritual beings having a physical life." It's so interesting that a Jesuit priest says exactly what it says in the Medium's book, which is really good. So, as Kardec defined in the Medium's book, question 159, he says, everyone who is any degree is influenced by his spirit is a medium. And that's not a privilege. I know that in many places, a lot of people says that see themselves as being gifted, something special, and that they are different from the other people. And in Spiritism, the way the spirits have taught us, this is not a privilege. The mediumship is given and is not forced on us. We ask for it, or because this is an opportunity for us to not only live our lives and learn what we need to do, but also is a way for us to do the little extra to compensate or to readdress some of the old wrongs that we have. So it is, in a sense, a gift because it's something that's given to help us. In that sense, it is a gift. But it's a gift that helps our spirit to learn, to progress, to evolve faster, not to be different or special from other people. And it definitely is not for us to become famous and rich. That's very important. So mediums, although we are mediums, what we call mediums are those whose mediumship is clearly characterized and shows the marked effects. And it depends also in greater or lesser degree of the sensitivity of the physical body. So all of us, we have intuitions, we have premonitions, we have a sense of danger. So this is all mediumship. You might not be an ostensive mediumship, but mediumship is part of your life completely. So in a way, we are all special, although, some people have some more work to do. So every medium can communicate to the spiritual world, but it depends on their level of perception. And their expression will depend on the level of evolution, also according to their affinities. The spiritual world is not unlike the world that we live in now, the material world. Actually, the material world is a reflect of the spiritual world. So what we have is we have beautiful places, wonderful spirits, angels of light, but we also have the people who have left this earth full of anger, full of hatred, desire for vengeance, all the negativity, the painful parts of a human being is there as well. We can find there as well. So we reflect the world there. Um, Another thing that's important for us to remember about mediumship is that mediumship is a personal work. Um, each one of us have our own mediumship, our own type of mediumship, and our own way of working. And there is infinite interpretation because there are no mediums alike. Even though we may have the same types, we are able to do psychography, psychophony, we are able to give healing and other things, but it will depend on a physical body. It will depend on us, on a physical way, a perception, and how evolved we are spiritually speaking. So, so there is each one, as in they have their mediumship, the way they sense, the way their body is, and depends on all that. So the basis for functioning mediumship is symphony. This is extremely important, and it reflects the level, the vibratory level of the medium, who are in and who he is in synchrony with. Our thoughts, our words, our behavior shows who we have as companions. It's interesting that the Apostle Paul, he warned us that we are, I think it's in the letter to the Corinthians, that he says we are surrounded by a cloud of witnesses. And also, Kardec makes a very important point in the Medium's book that says there are thousands of ways, more or less hidden, of communication. It is a mistake to think that communication can only be written or verbal. In fact, the influence of the Spirit upon us is constant and ever present, even upon those who do not believe in spirits. So you don't need to believe in spirits to be influenced by them. Actually, there is a question in the Spirit's book that says that we are completely surrounded by spirits all the time. And sometimes they are the ones who lead us. And this is something very, very important for us because even though we have good spirits, we have guardian angels, we have a lot of support, we don't want it to be led by, we have to take responsibility for ourselves. So the spiritual communications reveals that we are in constant communication with the invisible world, and those around us reflect our personal preferences expressed in our thoughts, words, and how we live our daily lives. And they take part in everything we do. So even though, I know, oh, I don't believe in spirit. Somebody said to me once, oh, I don't believe in spiritism. I don't think anything to do with spirit. But they are human beings and they are spiritual beings and they are surrounded by the spirits. So it's better when you can accept it and then you can work on it. It's very important. So one thing that Andrea Luiz says in Oslar, in Astro City, Andrea Luiz says, our thoughts are connected, forming a nucleus of a living force through which we receive a quota of sadness or joy in the general vibration. Each of us will live what we cultivate. So when we think, Emmanuel as well, in this book, Sympathy and Life, he talks, everything we think, our thoughts are they are flexible, they create images. So when we send a thought out, a thought of joy, it reaches out and other people are sending as well. We are receiving thoughts from other people. And the way Andrea Luiz, that all these thoughts, his thoughts are energy. They are energy and they form things. You can create things with your thoughts. It's very, very important to be able to understand this and to really try to clean our minds from negative thoughts, because it's a living force. It's this energy is connecting. We're sending thoughts, and we're receiving thoughts. I think that's why sometimes, you are home and you happy, contented, and you go out in the morning, say to work, and you sit in a tube or in a bus, and suddenly you start feeling sad, and you don't understand why you're feeling sad, because you were very happy, you're listening to the radio, you're listening to the music, you read your gospel before you left, and suddenly you feel like you're sad, you feel a bit down, feeling blue, as they say, and because you are capturing maybe someone who's very unhappy next to you, or someone around there, you receiving their thoughts into you. This living light, this force, this energy keeps pervading everyone. So when we feel like this, the best thing to do really is to feel that, no, this is not my sadness, and say a prayer. Just a thought, say, God bless, whoever that's sad, may they be filled with light and love and peace. And you start sending things of light. And sometimes this influence can be quite strong, can be quite harder to get rid of. And you won't be able to maybe get a text or the gospel, anything to read. So sing. I mean, that's what I do sometimes. Sing a song, say a prayer, as if you're reading a poetry, look at something that's fun, so you can break that contact and you start sending positive thoughts. It's something that's important to do. So we have as well to differentiate, and the book explains this really well. I hope you'll be able to read this book, because it's very, very important. And she writes so beautifully. I also adore Dr. Marlene. She really captivates you, and this book is wonderful. So there is a difference between mediumism and mediumship. Mediumism is when the mediumship faculty is preserved, is kept in this raw state, and is exercised in an empirical way without the medium submitting to. Oh, sorry. Sorry, everyone. It's spring now. It's eyes crying, throat of so it's when the mediumship is there, it's not educated, it's not worked on, and the person, there is no study, and there is no effort or work to do inner reform to overcome our body inclinations. And this, without having this work of trying to better ourselves, to try to learn about mediumship and about goodness and charity and loving, and just trying to learn, and we cannot work. And also the mediumship, we work with the teachings of Jesus, and mediumship like that cannot ever serve a useful purpose. Having said this here, it's very, very important, I think, and I know maybe some of you have knowledge of spiritism, and within spiritism, mediumship, healing is free. It's a gift that is given to us, freely given, and has to be freely passed on to others. We do not receive money. We work, we have our jobs, our professions, and we earn our money for our lives through our work. the times we go for healing, the work that we do in mediumship, the work we give in charity is completely free. It's something that we receive because the spirits are helping us and we're just the intermediary. It's like, I think sometimes things like you go to work and I get paid for the work you've done. I think you could resume like that. And honestly, no one would like to work for nothing. Although the spirits don't charge us for that. We ourselves will charge ourselves for that. So we this, I mean, sometimes people are not aware or they don't have a condition to know that they have a mediumship. This sometimes is it does happen. A lot of people do not know they are mediums, so they haven't yet gone and tried to look for. But it's important that once you are aware of mediumship, then you will be aware of it, and you try to educate yourself, read books. That's one of these books like this is important for us. So so mediumship presupposes, first of all, search for discipline based on constructive study and a useful purpose to help and to give completely free the gifts that we have freely received from the divine providence. These are words of André Luiz, actually. That's why mediumship is conferred to all without distinction of class, of race, of wealth, to strengthen it is in a way to strengthen those who are righteous and to help those who are wicked to change. Well, I don't really like this word wicked very much, but those who are maybe not yet in the right path. So mediumship, according to Emmanuel, also requires a specialization. Of course, like he said, there is an encyclopedic man has not yet been born on this planet. And mediumship, like everything else, you need to specialize. You need to see what type of mediumship you have. How are you going to direct yourself to learn about that? We can learn about everything, but if we are able to say we have psychophony or with psychography, so we work on that. We specialize on that work. Some of us are able to, all of us actually can give healing, but some people seem to find a lot more facility to be healers. So this is very, very important that we study, that we learn, and to evolve, because mediumship, like ourselves, like our spirit, is constantly evolving and developing. And the more you learn, sometimes you get to a point in which if you are studying, if you are learning, it helps you also because you start developing other types of mediumship as well, because it begins to be, because you refine your thoughts, your physical body, your perispirit, and you become a better filter for the spirit benefactors. And also, the more effort you put in getting better in what you do, of course, you have better teachers. It's like if you go to school, if you are learning, if you put a lot of effort, the teachers will pay attention. They will try to help you. But if you show that you don't care, nobody will care. So I think this is very important. So in the Evolution into Words, in the book of André Luiz and Chico Xavier, he says, mediumship requires a specialized development so that his spiritual subtle body, a spiritual subtle body, a spiritual or perispirit, or the subtle body or the astral body, can model and sustain the physical body so that he can become a loyal filter for the superior spheres, allowing the ascension of humanity to the realms of light. And I love this. I put an emphasis on this because, we think about mediums. I am a medium, I'm working, and we don't realize that in doing our work with love, with dedication, with commitment, with care, we're not only helping ourselves, we are helping some of the spirits that are working with us, because they are teaching us the spirits. Sometimes you go to a mediumship group, work, and there are spirits that are suffering. They are still very confused. They're still full of anger, and they are teaching us. They are teachers. What can I do to change? So when I go to the spiritual world, I will not go through this. How am I going to get rid of anger or distractions or feeling unhappy about other people? How I'm going to transfer? Because in doing this for ourselves, we are changing the world. It's very, very important to think, and to understand how important the mediumship work is. We are helping the world more than just ourselves. So all human beings are mediums, because all of us have a spiritual body, a perispirit, and also André Luiz calls the perispirit psychosoma, the body, the psycho body, the body, psych body, which are the true vehicle for the manifestation of the spirits. So, so it's just emphasize that we call ostensive mediums, those who are well marked, who the mediumship shows to them in a very undeniable way. You can't just deny it. But a lot of people, someone said to me, "Oh, I'm so glad I'm not a medium, because, and I said, "No, you are a medium. You may be not ostensive medium." "Oh, no, I would be afraid to deal with the spirits," which is so funny, because, she's surrounded by spirits all the time, and she's been studying spiritism for 3-4 years. So, but we are all involved anyway, and of course, in a greater or lesser degree of connection with the spiritual world, of sensitivity to the spiritual world. Gabrielle Delany, I'm sorry that I keep quoting things, but Dr. Marlene quoted things, and I think it's important for us to see the ramifications that all this knowledge about mediumship comes from, not only in spiritism. Gabriel Delany, I mean, he was a spiritist anyway. Gabriel Delany, he says mediumship is not a supernatural or miraculous gift. It depends on the physiological property of the nervous system, having no relation to morality or degree of intelligence of the medium. So mediumship, properly understood, depends on the physical body. So some people have, they are born mediums. Some people will develop mediumship. It's so you see children who play with people, and it's interesting when this happened. I remember a friend of mine had little daughter. I think she was about 3 years old, and she, we were playing, talking to her and everything, and then she said, "Oh, look, that's my other mummy." And I remember her father was looking around, where is the other mummy? And she said, "No, that's my other mummy." And she was looking at someone that she said was her mother. And you think probably was her mother from another incarnation. So children are full of things like that, and you can see it right from the beginning. So it depends on the physical body, and it's to do with our nervous system, how it evolves. And also, you don't have to be a wonderful person, an angel to be a medium. Anyone can be a medium. And like he says, there is nothing to do with morality, with the intelligence of the medium. Mediumship is there, and sometimes a person has very developed mediumship. They have many types of mediumship. So it doesn't matter in any part of society, if you're very rich or poor, whatever, you will have a mediumship. It's not something that is separate, or if you morally well and fine. If you're not, you can be a medium as well, but it's better to be better anyway. But mediumship will allow you to change, to make it better. So And he says the more developed spiritually Medium is, the less dense his spiritual body, and the easier for him to work with both planes. And no, of course, not only that, but also the fact that we are able to transmit the messages much clearer, more more consistently, to be able to help more, which is very important. So I it's already 1940. So I'm going to stop here for a moment. If anyone has a question or would like to say something, Munir, if you like to come back and maybe open for questions or comments that people may want to.
Yes, we have a few questions, Silvia. First,
Oh,
we want
good.
to thank those who are here with us: Elsa Rossi, Andrew Linerman. We have Kaylee Montgomery, Kira Stevenson, V. Camille. We have Saulo Wonderly. Thank you, Silvia, for touching subject so much important for we all. And I'll share with you here. Mediumship offers the incarnate spirit the opportunity to come into contact with higher references, with greater notions about life, way of living, and happiness. This is his comment.
Hmm.
We have other people here with us. Spider Bite, hello. He's got a question. What do you say about those TV mediums who have huge events with costs, which cost a lot to go?
Well, we don't really comment on that. That's the way they know. Maybe that's the way they learn about mediumship. Our work in spiritism, how we are we are taught, we learn from the spirits, is that this is a work of to help humanity, to help ourselves, to be able to understand the both worlds that we live. Some people maybe if they feel that it's something they are helping, and I'm sure, I'm certain that even the people who do work for money, at times they help people because the spirit benefactors, if there is a person who is in need, they will use anybody to help the people in need that they are trying to help. If it's through someone like that, it's they are helping anyway. But um, the consequences of it, it's is for each one to see. For instance, for us who have spiritist knowledge, if we do that, we are going to be severely upset about the consequences of that because we have the knowledge of not using something that is God's given for us to help ourselves and to help others for as a profession. But some people, as I say, they have no idea, they don't know. So they do things in accordance to what they think they know and learn. And really, I think we have to take care of ourselves. I do this because I want to help. I want to, because you see, the thing is that the spirits, that we work with, they teach us and we teach them. And through our behavior, we change sometimes the spirits as well. It's very important. I don't know if you wanted to make a comment on that as well,
Yeah,
Munir.
I would say that for within Spiritism, mediumship is as sacred as free will. So we don't condemn people for their choices. We give them reasons to act in this or that way, but without condemning anyone, without pointing our fingers at anyone. We do things in a certain way within Spiritism, and we explain why we do it in that way. It doesn't mean that everyone has to do it exactly the same way. As I said before, free will is very important. We make our choices, we accept the explanations or not, but well, of course, Spiritism has something to say about huge events, or what to do, the right way to use mediumship. And so Spider Bite, thank you, Silvia. We also have a question from Saulo. Let me share with you here. Uh,
I think he's actually saying something, isn't it, rather than asking
yeah,
a question. Yes, you don't have
yes. Let
to
me
be
see.
a wonderful person.
Yeah,
Mediumship is, as you say, um, and the book explains,
yeah,
you can be someone who's not very good at all. Mediumship is physical, it's part of your physical body, the type of mediumship. And if we are able to, through mediumship, to learn, to serve, it's fine. If you're not, um, all of us, we are going I think one of the most beautiful things, I think is in Spiritism is that you can do anything you want, but you need to be, nothing is forbidden, but you have to be able to cope with the consequences of what you do. Now we are creating a future. If we don't know, we don't know. You can't ask someone to behave in a certain way or do a thing in a certain way if they don't know. But as I say, in Spiritism, we learn that this is a gift that's given to us to help, to serve, to love. It's an act of charity. And actually, first to ourselves and then to others. And, it's like I was saying before in quoting that we're helping to change the world. It's just a little bit, but it's a little bit that's positive and is important.
yeah. And and Saulo made a comment here that he's making interventions, not questions per se. So thank you so much. There's also another. This is a question from Spiderbite again. Is it important to purify? You said you don't need to be a good person as such. They probably don't purify.
I don't quite understand what he means by
Yes. Yeah.
purify. I
Yeah.
think I think what for us is the question of it, like in the beginning, how Dr. Marlene begins. If you feel unhappy without reason, if you get irritated without reason, if you have heart palpitation, if you don't sleep well, if you have insomnia, if you sleep too much, all that kind of things, if you like crying, if you're upset, those things are things that shows us that we have a mediumship.
Yeah.
So
It
what
can be a
if we can
sign.
look for as a sign? We can have,
Yeah.
look for help. And I think what it's a studying, it's learning about the mediumship. What kind of mediumship I have? How can I control myself? How can I learn more? Because you see, the thing is, once you learn what it is, how you deal with it, those things disappear. And I'm telling you the truth because I went through everything you can imagine when I first started. I would start talking something else. I would fall, I sleep. I would fell asleep once in my car. I don't know if anybody of you knows London, in the crossroads of Fulham Road. I fell asleep on my car, so I went through all this, but once I started dedicating, making a commitment to the work, to the study, and also to the inner reform to be better, all these things disappeared. It's God, it's a blessing. So much easier to live once you know what you're doing,
Yeah.
isn't it?
He's making a comment also, Sylvia. Those spirits are questioning, try to attach to you. And then he says, I'm thinking lots of people have attachments.
Oh, yes. I mean, like we said, there are spirits around us all the time, all the time. The difference that makes what kind of things the attachments is, first of all, good spirits, they don't get attached to you. They are around you, they support you, they give you good intuition, they give you good suggestions, sometimes to solve your problems, to help you, to make you feel um, sure of yourself and everything. Attachments come when the spirit is not so positive. And the only way to change this, to control this, is by prayer, is by having, and you know, I know sometimes people say, oh, you know, I don't know how to pray, I don't go to church. No, it's not like that. You know, a moment that you stop and say, please, God, help me. Please give me clarity to solve this problem. Please give me some strength that I have to have a hard day today. That's a prayer. You know, you don't need to be there half an hour praying or going round and round and things. It's a moment. It's a moment that you look at the sky and say, thank you, God, that I have my eyes to see the sun shining or the rain or whatever it is. I think that's important to have positive thoughts, to wish good well for yourself and for others. That's the only way that the spirits, you will have the good spirits around you. Now, you are right. Many people have attachments, and also that there is a problem of obsession, which they deal with this now. But there, sometimes we have enemies from the past. We have the spirits around us all the time because we live, you know, within this world, but sometimes we have spirits that are from our past because we've done something to them that was not so good. And they have not been able to forgive us. And they have something against us. So they will attach to us. Or also, if our kind of life, you know, if we lead a life that we do things that are very bad for ourselves, for our bodies, and, you know, all kinds of abuses, we will have people around us that we are in sympathy with, because um, mediumship is mental, is in the physical body, but it's completely mental. It's a total question of sympathy. Who are you synchronizing with? You know, all that kind of thing. So it's very important to be always positive, to change our lives, to be aware. You know, say for instance, some people will go to pubs and they are there for 10 minutes and they don't feel well because they feel that even though they don't see or anything, the vibration sometimes can be very, very heavy and you don't feel comfortable. And as you start learning, as you start being more aware, you yourself start moving away from quite a lot of things. Don't you think, Munir? As well,
Yes, yes.
sometimes
And
how
we
we change
shouldn't,
ourselves.
yeah, and what we should remember is that it's not a faculty, mediumship, that attracts spirits to us. Our thoughts and actions will attract certain types of spirits who find in tune with us. You know, they are there because they attracted to us because they have affinity to what we do, what we think, and when we have the faculty, of course, we perceive these interference, as it were, or these proximity, we can say. But all of us, mediums or not, you know, we will be attracting those who like what we think, what we do, what we say. And it's the law of affinity. And mediumship is just a way to increase this perception, you know, sometimes even interact with you know, those who are attracted to us, but it's not something that happens by chance. It has to do with affinity, you know, the law of affinity.
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, we don't have more questions, Sylvia. We can go perhaps to the announcements. I don't know if there's anything else you want to share with us at this point.
No, I just very briefly, you know, thank you for being here, being invited to be here is wonderful. And please, if you have a chance, an opportunity, do read. It's The Gift of Mediumship. I don't know if it's translated to English. Maybe some work we need to do. maybe ask if they like us to translate this book, and we can do that. But if you have an opportunity to, even if you don't have this book, you have the Spirits book, which is very good introduction to the understanding of the spiritual world, and also the Mediums book. So those are easily available. You can even get on Amazon for your Kindle, or you can even download in PDF from the internet. So it is all in English as well. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Silvia, very much. Let's just make some announcements. Good news for those interested in mediumship. Um, First, next month, that will be the 3rd of May, first Sunday of the month. We will have here, same time, 7 p.m. Now, not GMT, but British Summer Time, BST.
Thank
We will
you.
have here with us talking about the book Obsession and Its Masks. Very serious one. Guilherme Dias and Roberto Watanabe. So both will be here in the studio, and they will bring their impressions about the book and the book's content, and share with us also two people who have great experience in mediumship. So it will be nice to watch them. And good news for those who are interested in mediumship, who had so many questions and doubts. We have an online study of the Mediums book. The Mediums book within Spiritism is the basis for the faculty for mediumship. So if you want to even better understand the book by Dr. Marlene Nobre, you should start from the Mediums book. And we have this free online study every Saturday, 10:30 a.m. This is UK time, so you are most welcome. You can join us. There's a QR code here for you to join, or you have the ID and the passcode for the study. So every Saturday, 10:30 a.m. The coordinators are Guilherme Dias, who will be with us next month, Charles Kempf, and myself. We also have a online study of the book Genesis, also by Allan Kardec. Wonderful book as well. And again, you are free to, you're most welcome to join us. You can do that by joining us in this Zoom ID code here and passcode. Every Wednesday, 12 noon. Again, most welcome to come. And the Spiritist Society of London, they have a study group online as well of the book Heaven and Hell and the Gospel According to Spiritism every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Again, London time. You have the ID and the passcode for the meeting. And finally, we want to thank Kardec Radio for all the support. Without Kardec Radio, we wouldn't be bringing to you over the past years all these series about important people within Spiritism and their contribution. So we are very grateful to them. Silvia, I have no words to thank you for your contribution. It's been wonderful. I, want just to, see if you have some final words before we go.
No, it's just, thank you very much. And as I said, do try to read the books. Reach out. I mean, we are here online. You gave a lot of suggestions, and reach out, send questions if you need, and there are many groups as well around London. So if you need any help and advice, get in touch. And just once more, I'd like to thank you all. Thank you for being here and working. And thank you, each and every one of you. God bless you all. And let's hope that you'll be able to maybe one day meet again and Thank you. It's wonderful to be part of this series on Dr. Marlene, which, as I said, I worked with her quite a lot, and she was a very humble woman, very, very kind person. She taught me a lot, and I really loved her. And I know she continues working as hard in the spiritual world as she does now. So we have to learn from her example and continue working as well as much as we can. And thank you very much, and God bless you all.
Thank you, Silvia. Yeah, I haven't had the pleasure to meet her, but what I heard about Dr. Marlene Nobre is that she was a wonderful person. So, and she also left us this contribution. So, thank you so much, Silvia. Thank you very much to those here with us, making their comments, putting their questions here to us. Spider Bite, she's saying that she, loves you, and she's glad that she got to see you here. So we share the same opinion, Silvia. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
And
Thank
yeah, so to all those watching us, thank you very much. Happy Easter once again, and see you in a month's time. For now,
you.
bye bye.
Bye. God bless. Bye bye.
God bless.